All rise. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Madam Chair, Commissioners, Lead Council, viewers and listeners, members of the press, good morning and welcome to our daily proceedings of this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters. Without wasting time, I have the honor to yield the floor to Madam Chair for our next item on our today's agenda. Madam Chair, over to you.
Auzu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I will call on Honorable Sila to lead us in Muslim prayers and Honorable Joyner to lead us in Christian prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-rahmanir rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. A'udhu billahi min sharri nisa'i wa min sharri sayatin wa sultanin Allah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim wa barik ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidun Majid. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amen.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty and everlasting God, be glorified in the heavens and in the earth this morning. Be glorified in our lives as we start this new day. Jesus, be thou glorified in all we may say and do this week. Glorify in your workplaces, glorify in our workplaces, our businesses, and in our schools. May your glory be with us in our going out and coming in. Today, may you give us the grace that will pardon and cleanse us within, and the grace that is greater than all our sins. Let your love never cease from us. Hear us when we call and help us stand with you alone, wherein our hope is built, now and forevermore. Amen.
Mr. Secretary, can you please check the witness? Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Witness. You may kindly take your seat. Mr. Witness, for continuation of your testimony before this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters.
Thank you.
May I remind you that you are still under oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I hand over the witness to you.
Mr. Kunta, good morning.
Good morning, ma.
You're welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Council, can we proceed, please? Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioners.
Good,
Mr. Kurubal, good morning.
good morning, sir. Thanks.
Yes, we were discussing the 2019 compliance review for the with respect to the GPPA, Gambia
Yes.
Public Procurement Authority. Do you usually receive this compliance review in your office?
Yes, they send it to the office, to the CEO, and then he shares it with us.
We discussed yesterday that going by the compliance review report for 2019, the total value of procurement done is $8,029,279.28. This you had already confirmed yesterday with the chairperson that would not reflect the true value of.
Sure.
Then why do you think that this number is in the compliance review report? This figure.
I wouldn't be able to tell it, definitely.
Do you make submissions with respect to your monthly submissions to GPPA with respect to your procurement activities?
Yes, single source procurements and RFQs, yes, monthly.
And RFQs
Yes.
every month since 2018? Because we are much more concerned about 2018.
2018, I'm not very sure, but
Can you provide us with the monthly submissions from 2018 to 2023?
okay, sir.
Please write that down, because you will have to come back.
Council, can you please?
Please. Yes, so I had already asked that you provide the compliance review for 2018 all the way to 2023.
Okay.
Do you have that? Now, why is it that for all your procurement activities in Brikama Area Council for the period 2019, you have not had any open tender or request for proposal or even restricted tendering? What you have is a single source activity of 292 and request for quotation 32. Why is that?
There have not been any procurement transactions that require those procurement methods.
Is that your argument?
Yes, because if there is something that needs to be tendered, it would have been tendered.
Let me.
Unless approval is given for such an.
Unless.
Approval is sought and given for us to proceed with.
Have you had cause to seek for approval?
2019.
Yes.
I cannot remember any of them.
Well, if you say that, it will be worrying, because what is the baseline for single sourcing?
It's up to 20,000.
Now, on page 17 of the 2019 compliance review, we've had samples of procurement activities that were way above the threshold. So I don't know what you're talking about. For example, 16th of September 2019, you had contracted one Adama Jam Sal and Sons for spare parts, the amount is $60,000. Is that not more than the threshold?
Did you say Adama Cham?
Adama Jam, Sal and Sons Company.
I cannot remember any supplier of mine by that name.
How about Camara and Sons?
Kamara?
Camara and Sons. He was contracted with respect to, or she, clearing of dump site, $65,000.
No, the issue of the clearing of dump sites.
No, let's just first talk about the threshold regarding, you said you have not carried out activities in relation to ones that are above the threshold.
Sure.
But that is not correct, because the compliance review had clearly outlined so many instances wherein you had engaged in single sourcing way above the threshold.
Those amounts are above the single source thresholds.
Yes, but you said that did not happen in 2019.
I said unless we have got clearance to do that.
Do you have you had clearance for all this?
No, for the first name, can you repeat that name again, please?
Adama Jam, Sal and Sons Company.
Adama Jam.
Yes.
JAM.
JAM Sal. JMSELL.
As I said, I cannot remember that name in my supplier list. But for Camara and Sons also, I cannot remember definitely.
But you know Petrogas?
Petrogas, yes.
On the 26th of February 2019, you paid an amount of $75,790 is 20 pututs. That was way above the threshold. Is that not correct?
It is.
Are you saying you must have had approval as well?
For fuel, I don't know. For fuel, the price is pegged at government level, so there is no much competition in fuel supply.
There is no much competition in fuel supply?
Yes.
So what is the arrangement you have at area council in relation to the purchase of fuel?
At some point, we were patronizing all the petrol stations in Brikama.
Yes.
Then, and then I can remember we contracted GNPC through a tender to supply us fuel.
When was this?
I think it's 2020 or 2021.
Can you provide us the contract document?
Sure.
With GNPC for 2020?
Now, Mr. Kunta, you just told us that the price of fuel is fixed by government.
Yes.
Which is true. But there is, under procurement, there is an agreement that you normally sign with suppliers if you intend to do a long-term transaction with a particular supplier. What is the name of that agreement?
Framework agreement.
Framework agreement.
Yes.
Now, you will agree with me that if that is entered into, you could have discount into the price of fuel. Is that not correct?
Yes, you're right, ma.
So, you saying that the prices are all the same is not correct, because you are buying in bulk and you know the purchase of fuel for Brikama is in the millions. So what would have prevented you from negotiating for more competitive pricing on a framework agreement with the suppliers, given the fact that you want value for money?
That was why we eventually contracted GNPC on the recommendation of GNPC.
This was 2019, 2020. So you saying that the price is flat and across the board, that is where I have issue. Because I know if you have a framework agreement with any petrol station, you will not be buying it at the pump price as of like any ordinary person buying at the pump price.
You are right.
Thank you. Council, you may proceed.
Yes, so let's proceed with respect to the sample of activities that were carried out in 2019. And they were all single source. You have the printing of shirts for the $47,000, for $7,375 from CB Art printing. Office provisions, the $5,512 B&S trading. You also have the toner, Global Electronics, $4,500. You have hiring of wheel loader from PK Enterprise. Do you know these businesses?
PK?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Mr. If you're saying you don't know these businesses, then apparently who conducts the procurement activities in Brikama?
No, we conduct procurement at my unit.
Who are you referring to as we? Are you not the head of the unit?
I am, sir.
So for every name I call out, you are saying you don't know this.
No, I may not remember the name because I know we hire shovels. Anytime there is a need to clear a dump site, we hire a shovel.
Yes.
Yes, and these shovels they charge a flat rate, a daily flat rate.
Under what condition should you advise or opt for single sourcing?
If the amount is less than the monetary threshold, mostly that is the only time.
Is that the only criteria or requirement?
Sometimes you cannot find a second supplier.
Sometimes you can't find a second supplier. So the law says for single source procurement, method may be used only in the following circumstances: when the estimated value of the procurement does not exceed the amount set in the GPA regulation. Now, for the most part, this is what you will focus on.
Yes.
B, when only one supplier has the technical capability or capacity to fulfill the procurement requirement, yes, or the exclusive right to manufacture the goods, carry out the works, or perform the service to be procured. C, when there is an emergency need of the goods, works, or services involving an imminent threat to physical safety of the population or of damage to property, or in the case of other unforeseeable urgent circumstances not due to dilatory conduct of the council. D, when the council having procured goods, works, or services from a supplier determines that additional goods, works, or service must be procured from the same source for reasons of standardization or because of the need for capability with existing goods, equipment, technology, works, or services. Now all this must be met. But do you really put this into consideration?
We do sometimes.
But there's no evidence. If you tell me you do, you can't tell me that only Malik Njai has the capacity to supply spare parts, and then you have chosen single source for this particular procurement, knowing fully well it is above the threshold, number one, and number two, there is no emergency situation. So under what circumstances were you recommending single sourcing?
As I said, Council, I cannot remember this particular transaction, but it is not often that we do that.
You don't have to remember the transaction. I can show you. It is in the compliance level for 2019. Or better still, let me just give you your contracts, your procurement file for the Brikama Area Council, and you please identify whether that is the procurement file. In it, you will see the 2019 compliance review from GPA. Please go through that file and advise us whether that is the procurement file you have submitted to the Commission.
You said 2021, 2019?
It's in there, yes.
2019, yes, I've seen it.
Now when you turn to page 17, you will see the procurement activities. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Now, are you telling the commission that for all these activities, you had met the requirements?
Apparently, the amounts are higher than the single source threshold.
Yes. That is the logic.
Yeah.
That is what we are discussing now. Have you met the requirements?
No, sir.
May I please have the file? And why is that the case? Why would you engage? That's why I asked that for the value of $8 million or more, we certainly know, even for fuel alone, Brikama Area Council will spend $1 million or thereabout every month. Is that not correct?
It is.
Yes. And so that only makes sense in relation to the fact that what is stated in the GPPA value for procurement, that is $8,029,279.28, but is not a true reflection, as the chairperson has said, of the value of procurement.
I agree.
So why would you entirely focus on single sourcing as opposed to other means of or methods of procurement?
You know, I don't know why we did this. Definitely, I cannot.
You don't know why?
I don't know how it happened.
What do you mean you don't know how it happened?
It could have happened. I am not aware.
You are the manager. You are the procurement manager.
Yes.
You should be in a better position to tell us why. And
Sure.
it is a concern because if you focus on single source alone, there are so many problems regarding that.
Sure.
Is that not the case?
Sure.
And what can you tell us? What are the main issues or concerns or negative effect of single sourcing?
There is no competition.
That's number one.
Most of the time, that is the case.
No, I mean there's no competition, but then there's a reason as to why there should be a competition. Is that not the case?
It gives you value for money.
Value for money.
Yes.
What you pay for, you'll have value for that. You'll
Yes.
if you want to buy a TV, you must have specifications. If you follow the requirements in relation to the Procurement Act and regulation, then you will attain value for money.
Sure.
It also minimizes fraud. Is that not the case? So instead of just dealing with one supplier and having the individual who really is dealing with the supplier to have their own deals in relation to the procurement activities.
You are right.
Yes. But then and you see that being rampant in the area council, and then you as the procurement manager, you have not done anything about it.
It might have occurred, but anytime it happened, we acted in good faith.
What do you mean in good faith?
Sometimes it is the urgency of the matter.
No, Mr.
Because-
Is it
Kunta.
Kunta?
Yes.
Mr. Kunta, you can't tell me it is the urgency of the matter
Yes.
in relation to printing of shirts. You can't tell me it's the urgency of the matter in relation to buying a Samsung Galaxy J4. You can't tell me that. Staff toner, $34,500. These are things that you must plan. They must be in your procurement plan for the year.
Perhaps I should revisit these files and see whether it is actually a single source. I don't know.
Mr. This particular 2019 file was limited to you,
Sure.
and you have seen that.
Yes.
Did you not act on it?
We responded. I don't know whether the response are in the
The response are not in the file. It will show you with the file during the break, and then you can confirm yourself. But then the response are not there in the file.
Because normally what happens is when the GPPAs write a draft report,
Yes.
they send it to us, we look at it, and then we respond. Then
in
we respond.
the management response.
Yes, and then they send in the final report.
So you had said in the column for management response that the procurement organization had entered into 2 framework agreements for fuel and stationary suppliers with Gambia National Public Petroleum Company and KGN respectively. Do you have these agreements?
KGN for stationary.
Yes.
Yes,
You have them.
we entered into framework agreements.
Do you have these agreements?
I'll find out.
Please do. This explains why some single source transactions for stationery exceeded the threshold. We keep a fuel register which records all supplies of. Now, these were marked improvements over the previous years, and preparations are already underway to enter into such other agreements yet again for the supply of fuel, stationery, lubricants, and spare parts for the coming year. It is envisaged that this move will reduce our single source transactions drastically. But this does not address the issue. It does not explain as to why you had decided to use single source.
As you can see, for stationery, we have had an agreement, and then for fuel also, as stated.
Now, do you have your procurement plan for 2019?
Yes, we do.
Can you please give us the procurement plan for 2019? How about 2020?
Yes, we do.
Please write that down.
I'll write them. Remember.
And 2021, 2022, 2023.
Okay, sir.
Now, when you deal with these suppliers, do you draw out specifications in relation to your procurement activities?
Yes, we do for things. Yes, normally we do that.
Now, on the 3rd of July 2019, you had purchased one desktop, HP laptop, and digital devices. The amount is $131,675. Again, January 2019, 31st January 2019, one Dell laptop for $32,000. There were no specifications provided. Why would that be the case?
But it will be difficult to buy a laptop or a computer without specifications.
Why?
Because how would you know what you want?
It's not difficult. I can just walk in any shop and buy a laptop. Why is it difficult?
Anytime we buy a laptop, it is a request from the IT unit, and the IT come with a specification.
No, but I can just walk in an electronic shop and buy a laptop. You can't tell me it's difficult. How is that difficult? If you decide to deal with one dealer, how is that difficult? Now we need information regarding these two procurement activities. You will find it on page 22 of the compliance review. Do you follow?
Yes.
Now, what program do you have with respect to SMEs?
SMEs?
Yes.
No formal program, but definitely we deal with them.
How do you deal with them?
We engage them in our procurements.
But tell us how.
Just in the normal routine procurement that we do.
But you don't have any outline program.
No, we don't have any.
But you don't. It's a requirement.
But we are sensitive to their cost, and then we patronize them.
But you know, it's a requirement that you must have a policy, guideline, or a program outlined in relation to how you promote the SMEs, and we deal with them in your procurement activities.
I know we are encouraged to deal with them, definitely, and we are doing that.
Do you conduct market surveys?
We conduct market surveys, yes.
How often do you conduct market surveys, and when do you conduct market surveys?
Normally, before the budget session, we conduct a market survey, because our office normally advises the budget session as to the prices, prevailing prices in the market at that time.
Do you document this?
You know, we have just because GPPA came up with this issue. I said you don't have a reporting form for market survey, so
you don't have to have a reporting form. You must document it.
Yeah, but then if I do it, it's for my own consumption, so to enable me to do my work properly. So I was definitely not keeping those records as
Mr. Kunta, you must have documentation in relation to the market survey. Then how would you advise the contracts committee in relation to the prevailing price and the availability of certain goods in the market?
We do it very informally.
Informally.
Yes.
Now on page 30, there.
Sorry. Is it not part of the requirements under the law, under procurement, that you must consistently be doing market survey to allow you to have an advanced knowledge of what is available in the market? And I believe this is the reason why sometimes your choice decision of using a type of procurement method is informed. Because if you say you want to do a single source and you know the product or the service is above the threshold, your market survey should have given you an inclination as to the availability or the rare nature of the service that has been provided, which will inform your decision to use single sourcing, for instance. Is that not the case?
Market surveys definitely are requirements,
Yes.
but then these are items that are available in the market, and everybody knows their prices and so forth.
Okay.
So there are no specific material items that need critical procurement procedures.
Okay.
These are off-the-shelf material items.
Okay.
Yes, but then definitely there is need to have market surveys.
Yes, but if they are off the shelf, as you said, quoting you, for you to be able to have value for money, because people have different price structures. So you go in there and assume that because it's all available, so you can select any one person. Because if you don't do market survey, you wouldn't know whether a particular brand of phone, if you go to, for instance, Starlinks, what they will be selling you is different from Star GFM. Is that not the case?
It is.
So if you don't do the survey, how would you know that there is price difference? Even though they are quoting you, even though they are, they are available and everybody knows their price.
As I said, in my answer, I stated that we conduct market surveys, although informally. There is no formal documentation, but then we find out about these things.
Don't you think it is important that you structure it so that it will not be subjective, it will be objective?
I agree, and I'll take that advice.
Yes, because if you don't structure it, you as the procurement, you can decide to call your friend at the market and say, I want this, and this is the specification, and you can always defend it. But then if it is structured, you know that you have something to rely on, and somebody doing an audit on your activity will know that you have done what is right. Right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, there was the procurement of tires. The amount is $105,000.
105.
Yes. And the awarded contractor is Jamal Baden Enterprise.
Yes.
Do you recall this?
I know Jamal is our supplier, one of the suppliers we deal with.
Now, for the non-compliance, it is outlined that the procured item was not part of the procurement plan. Why would you procure an item that is not part of the procurement plan without following due process?
At the beginning of the year, when we submit the procurement plan,
Yes.
a particular item might not be on that plan, but the need can arise during the course of the year to have that item.
And what should you do?
We should adjust the procurement plan.
Was that done?
I cannot remember doing that, definitely.
That was not done.
Maybe.
And then they said the quotation was not approved by the contracts committee. There was no inspection committee to inspect the goods as stipulated in the regulation. There was no minute of the contracts committee meeting as stipulated in the GPR, and no evaluation report generated for this procurement.
By that time, there was no examination committee, in fact.
Since when?
I think it's 2020 or so.
2020.
2020 or 2021, I'm not sure.
Amount is $400,000 of goods. It didn't specify which type of goods. Now the amount is $400,000. The non-compliance as well. The item was not part of the procurement plan. The quotations were not opened in a register of Form 004. What is Form 004?
004 is the record of opening of request for quotation.
The quotation was not approved by the contracts committee. There was no inspection committee to inspect the goods. the purchase order was not raised by the end user department. Why is it important and necessary to have the end user to raise a purchase order?
The end user, in our case, does not raise any purchase order.
Why is that?
The purchase order is raised by the unit, the procurement unit.
That's the end. That is the end unit. That is the end user the law is referring to, not the procurement unit. The procurement unit cannot raise the purchase order. Someone must have said that they need a laptop or they need a desk. How would you know?
Now we have an internal requisition from the units. The unit will raise a request, send it to the CEO for approval. Then it comes to us for action. But the purchase order is part of the procurement process. So
now it says as well there was no delivery receipt as well. Why is it important to have a delivery receipt?
It's evidence of supply.
And when it is absent?
It's questionable.
What kind of questions?
I say it is questionable whether the item is delivered.
Delivered or not.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
What can you tell us now? Where these goods delivered?
Maybe those are, it might be an oversight, definitely.
What do you mean oversight? When you say oversight, what do you mean?
If it is not given and it was not asked for, then that is an oversight. It should have been asked for.
Let's see whether we have the same problem as well. You have the procurement of toner, $14,000 is the same issue. You have the hiring of bulldozer for clearing of Tambanan dump site, $65,000. The non-compliance, it was also not in the procurement plan. The procurement method is above the threshold. The purchase order was not raised, and there was no minutes of the contracts committee.
The issues of these dump sites and waste collection, they are not planned. They are not part of our procurement plans.
Why?
Because what goes into the plan emanates from the user departments. They have to submit their plans for the year and that's for incorporation into our procurement plan. So at the beginning of the year, when the budget session is on, they don't put forward such requests.
But you had told us that you can amend the procurement plan.
Yes,
you can add.
That's where we faltered, definitely.
That's where you are faulted.
Yes.
Mr. Kunta, we also have the procurement of stationery, office stationery, $76,590 from KGN. It was single sourced. Non-compliance, it was also, the quotation was not opened in the register form. The procured item was not specified on the procurement plan. The amount is, of course, obviously above the threshold, and there was no delivery receipt. The purchase order was not raised. Is it the same thing as well as a mistake?
Is it?
Do you have the same explanation as well for this particular procurement?
Yes, definitely. I can tell you, Council, we have improved on these things, on these issues.
Let's see your activities for 2020. By the way, in Brikama Area Council, do you sit in the contracts committee?
Yes, I am the secretary to the committee.
Now, as the secretary, do you take minutes?
Yes, sir.
Do you have evidence of those minutes from 2018?
I have them in my laptop, but we have submitted the signed ones to this commission.
The signed ones?
Yes.
From 2018?
Yes.
To 2022?
Yes, all the minutes I have, we have printed and we have. I have copies in my PC.
Yes, but I will request that when you are done with the commission today, at 1 o'clock you confer with the registrar to check what you have in your laptop is what is submitted to the commission.
My laptop is at the office. I would request that you allow me to go print all that and bring them here and then do that comparison.
Yes, you can do that tomorrow.
Tomorrow, please.
Because we want to cross-check what is given to us is actually what you have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kunta,
yes.
For 2020 as well, the value of procurement is 30,960,000 $922,264 is 4 bottles. Now this is just slightly short of $31 million.
Sure.
Now, again, you only have one open tender, but all the rest, 120 activities, were single sourced, 52 for requests for quotation.
Again, the same explanation. What we tendered was a requirement for tender.
Mr. Kunta, is very clear that if the amount is above the threshold, you must seek for approval, and you must have met the requirements. But
Yes.
it appears as if in Brikama Area Council, what you prefer is to single source all your procurement activities.
It depends on the request at the time, council. What is requested for? If it is within the threshold for single source, we single source it.
Very well. But we have shown you samples of activities that were way above the single sourcing.
Those are scanty, and I said sometimes it is a circumstance at the time at the office.
Now let's look at the samples of procurement activities that on page 21 of the 2020 compliance review. Now it says the procurement of 1,680 bags of 25 kilograms of rice. The category is goods. The amount is $967,680. The oil contractor is Blueprint Company Limited. Do you recall?
Yes, I do.
Why was it single sourced? Because the method was single source.
This was the time of the COVID, and then we bought this rice as our intervention to help people of West Coast region.
It was during the COVID period.
Yes,
And you bought the rice for what?
we sell it as a relief support to families.
Yes.
But we wrote to GPPA for clearance, and then they gave us clearance to go ahead with this.
They gave you clearance.
Yes.
To go ahead with this.
Yes.
We need a copy of the clearance. But what we see here in the GPA compliance review is that of course we know the procurement activity was above the threshold. They said it is part of the procurement plan. We need to see the procurement plan for 2020.
It wouldn't be part of the plan. I agree with that. For the same reason, at the beginning of the year, we didn't foresee that we were going to buy that rice. I should have adjusted the procurement plan, which I did not do.
And they said it was not raised by the end user.
It was the end user in this case are the people who are being donated. So it's a discussion that we had, and then it's a decision that council took to do, and then we did it.
Are you saying it is a council's resolution that was?
No, as far as we are concerned, the decision comes from administration, admin.
How about the procurement of excavation and clearing of drains? $450,000.
But that
from one Langkaramo Sawane. Who is Langkaramo Sawane, by the way?
Langkaramo is a supplier, is a contractor. But then that went through request for quotation.
Okay.
It went through request for quotation.
The findings are that there were no minutes of the contracts committee meeting.
Not everything goes to the contracts committee. I agree, definitely.
And why would that be the case?
Sometimes the contracts committee will allow us to do things and then report later.
Allow us, as in who are you referring to as us, the procurement?
My office in collaboration with the office of the CEO.
Do they put this in writing?
No.
You have the procurement of goods, $107,500, from one friendship enterprise. What can you tell us about that one?
RFQ.
Do you recall this?
It's RFQ.
RFQ, yes. Why were there no minutes?
I'll bring my minutes. I'll go through the minutes and see if these things are, they pass through this. I can remember pass through the contracts committee.
Right. Please make sure you provide us with the evidence.
Yes.
Let's just see the 2021 compliance review. with respect to the findings, you have the procurement of fuel, $102,172 buttons from GNPC. It's also RFQ. We can't trace the minutes of in the file.
RFQ?
Yes.
I have never conducted an RFQ on fuel.
You have the procurement of 10 motorbikes, $485,000 from Sasi Import. It's also RFQ.
Yes.
What are the conditions for RFQ?
The threshold is one.
Go ahead.
And this is within the threshold.
How many requests for quotation should you have in RFQ?
Minimum of 3.
Minimum of 3.
Yes.
So we will need you as well to provide us with the evidence in relation to the request for quotations you have received, wherever you have used RFQ, especially in this one.
10 motorcycles.
Please come again.
You said 10 motorcycles.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
That's all for 2021. Where are your compliance review for 2018? Did you receive those?
2018?
Yes.
Unless I find out.
2019?
I think 19, I'll find out, 2018 and 19.
Any questions, Madam Chairperson, for the witness?
Now, Mr. Kunta, when you receive this review reports, at the level of the contracts committee, do you review these reports to know what challenges have been highlighted and what are the remedial issues that you ought to take for the subsequent year?
No, not the contracts committee, but we sit with the CEO and then review it.
Okay.
Yes, we review and then prepare responses for the issues raised.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it not appropriate to involve the contracts committee, given the fact that it's the contract committee that sits on issues of contract and in tandem with procurement?
It is very necessary.
So why do you have to jump the contract committee and go to the CEO?
When they come on the review, they have an entry meeting, and they also have an exit meeting.
Yes.
Where these issues are explained,
yes.
And the contracts committee members usually are there. But then the actual response to the queries, we do it technically amongst ourselves and the CEO. But I agree with you. Involving them would have been better.
Yes, Council.
Who keeps these procurement files, and how do you keep them?
They are kept at finance.
At finance?
Yes.
Why finance?
They pay, and then they are the custodians of the vouchers.
So you don't have a procurement file in your office?
Whenever we need them, we access them.
You don't have a file in your office?
No, we don't.
Why is that?
It's for the purpose of record keeping.
But you run and manage an entire unit. Your unit is supposed to be independent. Is that not the case?
Independent.
Because for every year, one of the major findings is that you will not keep the file with respect to the procurement activities for a given year. An example is on page 19 of 2019. It says the specialized procurement unit should ensure all procurement activities are filed either in the procurement method or monthly transactions as required by the GPA Act. Now, the PO did not maintain a comprehensive and individual file for all procurement activities. There are no delivery notes and receipts attached, and in some instances, no goods received notes in some procurement files. The files are not marked with the relevant procurement references. No control mechanism for fuel. No purchase ledger. No proof that all items claimed to have been procured are delivered. No delivery notes to ascertain where the end users receive the items or not. Now, in short, you don't have a procurement file in your office to kind of ascertain and keep records in relation to your activities.
The filing that they queried was that we were not filing according to procurement method. We said we are filing according to monthly
No,
transaction.
you don't even have the records in your office.
But then the records are the finance.
They should be
Anytime
in your
they
office.
come, every time they come, they have access to these files.
But they should be in your office. These files, they're not complete. That's
Finance,
what they are saying.
Finance would also not give us their vouchers to keep, because they do the payments. When audit comes, it is they that they audit, so they have to keep the vouchers. So it is a matter of who should keep what, and then I'm more comfortable them keeping it because it is more secure. They have where to keep it.
So you are not comfortable
office,
keeping these files.
My office is a very small one. It's congested.
Mr. Kunta, that's not an excuse. You know that is not an excuse.
But the files are always available.
They're always available. Well, Madam Chairperson, that's all for this witness for now. He will request that he brings the documents that are requested.
Sure.
I have some few questions on this. It is noted that your budget for your budget for 2022 was 168,350,000, and that is the budget for 2022, and we see that the PE, just a minute. Now, for capital, for the grand total of the PEs, was 68,200,000, and out of this, do you know what was the actual expenditure from this total amount from the 2022 budget? Do you have any idea?
The 2020 normally it is captured in the subsequent budget, the actuals of the preceding year.
Yes, but
of the succeeding year.
Yes, for this one, what I see here on the just a minute. Do you normally keep the budgets? Do you have copies of the budget that you keep?
No, we don't.
Then how do you have a guide as to if a requisition is made for the procurement of goods and services? What informs you that you should go ahead in
Procure.
Yes, in procuring either the goods or services? What informs you?
When the budget is ready, is done, we extract the procurement aspect of it and then prepare our procurement plan. But then, as I said, there's a budget controller, there's a vote controller who approves before we proceed. So we act on his approval before we can proceed with anything.
Yes, what I mean is, do you have a copy of the budget? Yes, if there is a requisition, it has to pass through the process.
Yes.
The end user from the organization will make requisition.
Yes.
Is that not correct?
Yes.
And then it is now sent up for, you understand?
To the CEO.
To the CEO.
To ensure that it is in the budget,
yes,
and
then
it
it is
approval. Yes.
sent back to the finance director.
Yes.
Who will now send it back to to your unit for necessary action.
Yes.
Yes. Now, if that is done, how do you counter-check that what has been instructed by the CEO is actually available?
actually budgeted for.
Yes.
Perhaps we should be doing that, but for us, it is the CEO's prerogative to control that budget.
No, it is not, because I heard you said earlier on that. Just hold on 1 minute. You said council was trying to put across to you about the fact that your office should be independent. What does the Procurement Act say with respect to the procurement unit when it comes to doing its job?
Our independence is of paramount importance, I agree.
Yes, because it would be useless if you cannot stand independent in terms of making sure that the money expended is expended judiciously. Is that not correct?
But our independence, I don't think it encompasses giving approvals for procurement.
No. I'm not talking about the approval, because the Act does not say that.
Uh-huh.
The Act says you are independent, and that is why I believe I stand to be corrected, that you report direct to who? Is it the CEO or the Director of Finance?
The CEO.
Yes. This is why you do not pass through the Finance Department or anything. You go direct to the CEO. Right?
In fact,
because you are meant to make sure that you control what the Department of Finance does when it comes to the procurement of goods and services. Is that not the case?
I don't understand, ma.
What I mean is that as a unit,
yes,
when procurement of goods and services are done, this is brought down to you from the CEO's level.
Yes.
And it is the Finance Department that does all the transactions. After you have said, you understand, you have also made your input as to what is available and how it could be sourced. Is that not the case?
Yes. Yes, that is what happens. When user departments raise a request, it comes to the CEO.
Yes.
The CEO determines whether it is in the budget and whether that procurement can go ahead.
Yes.
He gives us approval.
Yes.
And that approval is based on that we do the procurement.
Yes.
Yes.
So, but that is what I'm saying. I said, if you don't have the budget, the copy of the budget with you, to cross-check whether what the CEO has approved is actually available, you understand? You might end up proceeding to procure something which will end up being a liability. Is that not the case? And is that not some of the issues that you were encountering? Because they will give you to procure and only to go back to find out that there are no monies to pay for the procurement that you have done. And it becomes a liability for the institution.
Yes.
Have we not gone through all of those things?
Yes, we have, many times.
So
maybe I'll need to discuss that when we go back henceforth, because
if you don't create the appropriate checks, that is why you end up having that problem.
We have access to the budget at the beginning.
So who keeps the budgets?
I suppose it's finance, but for this year I'm giving a copy of the budget, although it is outside your scope, because we have a new finance director. I was sitting in my office one day, just brought in a copy and said, "This is a copy of the budget." I even made the remark, "But this is the first time we are having this."
Do you not participate in the preparation of the budget?
Yes, I participate.
Yes. So when it is all done and dusted, you don't have any more access to this?
No, I have access.
After this year? Before this year?
I have access. That's where we draw our procurement plan from.
Okay.
But then to give us a copy as a unit, I think this is the first time. But definitely, anytime we need, we take it, make reference, and then return it.
All right. So, Council?
Mr. Kunta, just to conclude with you,
Thank you.
For today, did you take part in any disposal of assets at the council at any point in time from 2018?
Yes, I did.
When was this?
We did 2 asset disposals.
Two.
Twice. during this
first one was
period.
when? Yes.
I think it's 2019 and 2022.
And 2022.
Yes.
Now, can you tell us the steps that were taken in disposing of these assets for the one in 2019?
We, as the contracts committee, set up an asset disposals committee ad hoc.
Were you part of it? Were you a member in 2019?
My involvement is at the level of the contracts committee.
Committee.
Yes, but we selected the other committee, the disposal committee.
In 2019?
Yes, and we select this from different units based on relevance of their jobs. We select somebody from admin to head the team.
Yes.
Select somebody from procurement, from internal audit, and also from the council, the finance committee of council, a councillor.
Now, who is the chairman of the contracts committee in 2019?
The contracts committee,
Yeah.
or the disposal committee.
No, the contracts committee.
The contracts committee. The CEO is always the committee, the chairman of the committee. Yes.
And what is your role in the contracts committee?
I'm the secretary.
You're the secretary.
Yes.
Now, we've had reports regarding the fact that the proceeds in 2019 could not be accounted for. Do you know about this?
We set up the committee, and then when they did the exercise, they came and gave a report,
Yes.
a verbal report.
Verbal report.
Yes, at first. They said they gave us what the baseline was and what they were able to score. But then at that point in time, there were still outstanding monies to be pursued. And then they were urged to facilitate that and bring back their final report. But the final report never reached the contracts committee.
It never came.
It never came.
But they have said that they submitted this report. Now, the finance manager, Mr. Suso, gave evidence and said that this report was submitted to the contracts committee. Was that true?
Yes. At one of our meetings, the CEO reported that he was in custody of a report, but that there were loopholes in that report. So they were working on that, but it never came to the committee meeting.
How about the one for 2020?
Likewise.
And so it is correct that the contracts committee, which you are a member of, you were not provided with evidence of the payment of the monies that were realized in the sale?
Definitely not. And so, some members were even questioning this, that insisting that let them bring us receipts.
Yes.
But they never came.
They never came.
No.
Right. Now, please proceed. Yeah.
Yes, I want to find out what was the procurement status for the decoration of the grounds after the completion of the new building. Which amount was indicated to have been expended, which is $10 million. Please look at your budget and confirm to us and tell us whether proper procurement procedure was followed. 10 million.
This 10 million, is our counterpart contribution to GAMWORKS for the building of that office complex.
It is not counterpart. That is not what the budget is saying. Or you should.
It says 10 million GAMWORKS counterpart contribution.
Counterpart contribution.
Yes.
Please, can I see it? But what is the narration there? What I said. Why is that there?
It says
For the ground.
No, this is the budget.
Yeah, no. But read the narration that is there.
Here it says 10 million
For.
GAMWORKS counterpart contribution.
And then.
That's all.
Please, let me see.
Check.
Now, Okay, read note 9. Read note 9 for us. This is what I was referring to. It's my mistake. It says this is for the decoration of the ground after the completion of the new building, which is 500,000, $500,000. So please tell us.
Note 9.
Note 9.
Okay. The amount budgeted was 500,000
Yes.
for the office grounds, office premises.
Yes. For the decoration.
Yes.
Yes.
But I don't know how much was spent out of this. This is the budget.
Yes,
But
that is what I'm saying.
yes.
That was what was budgeted for.
Yes.
And I am asking you, as the procurement officer, can you recall what was expended in terms of, you understand, the ground decoration?
No, I cannot remember any expenditure on this.
Can you please find out?
Okay.
Please note that.
Office grounds.
Let me have the budget. Now, under note 5, it is stated that the utilities are for the what was set aside. What was set aside was 4.5 million. Do you have any idea also?
Utility what?
Yes, they said the note 5. It says the utilities are for the enhancing of revenue to boost our income. That is the purchase of official vehicle pickups, 4 salon, and coaster van for councillors, and 12 motorbikes for 4.5 million. That is a major procurement. Were all of this procured?
We bought some vehicles.
How many vehicles did you buy?
There were 2 station wagons,
Yes.
3 station wagons, and 2 double cabin pickups, 5 vehicles.
Yes. What about the motorbikes?
Motorbikes, those are the 10 motorbikes he made mention of.
But what was budgeted for was 12 motorbikes.
Yes, but at the time we just bought 10 instead.
10.
Yes.
And did you follow due process in the procurement of this?
It was a restricted tender for the vehicles.
Why did you have to use restricted tender, not open tender?
Because we engage all the vehicle suppliers who have after-sales garages in this country. And that's a recommendation of the GPPA. Now, if you open it, a lot of tenders, businessmen will apply. But those that are eligible, as far as our conditions are concerned, are the ones we wrote to. That's all the big dealers in this country that have after-sales service garages. They sell spare parts, they can conduct after-sales, and they can give warranties. So, but these roadside vendors, they don't have after-sales garages. They cannot give warranties and so forth.
But if you do an open tender, those issues that you want to be guaranteed are always provided for in the tender document. Is that not correct?
Yes,
when you do an open tender,
sure.
all those issues that you want the supplier to guarantee you, because for all of these things you have specifications. Is that not correct?
Yes.
And if you want after service contract, these are things that you include in your tender. And where the person cannot provide evidence of that, the person will not win the tender. Is that not the case?
That is the case, but then for vehicles, we are allowed to do restricted based on this fact.
But you know that there are so many issues on restricted tender, right?
There could be issues. There could be issues. Yeah. A very eligible supplier could be left out. But in this case, GPPA makes sure that all of them are written.
How sure are you sure that GPPA makes sure that those companies live up to their, live up to expectation of you, the procuring institution?
We know they have after sales services, garages,
Yes,
and they have spare parts supplies, and they are certified dealers of the manufacturers of those vehicles.
mm-hmm.
For example, the CFO is a certified dealer of a Toyota company.
Yes.
Likewise, Espas Motors for Ford and Great Wall, and so forth.
All right, that is noted.
Yes.
Yes, under note 6, the council indicated that you intended to purchase the vehicles mentioned above. So you have decided to reduce the budget line for the hiring of vehicles at dump site. But when you look at what was provided for in the 4.5 million, it is not anything that would help in the providing of cleansing services. Is that not correct?
4.5 million.
Yes, I said the 4.5 million that we talked about earlier, that is on note 5.
Yes.
If you go to note 6, they are saying they have reduced the budget line for the hiring of vehicles, stroke dump site, cleaning activities.
Yes.
Which is budgeted for 4.9 million, that is almost 5 million, that is 4,995,604. This is what was budgeted for, right, in 2022 for the hiring of vehicles for the dump site, for the clearing of the dump site. So now I am saying what is contained in note 5 is the purchase of these vehicles, and these vehicles have nothing to do with, vehicles that are required for the purposes of cleaning, the council. Is that not so?
I agree very well.
So was this right?
The purchase of those vehicles
Yes.
cannot in any way reduce expenditure on waste collection.
Exactly.
I don't know why it is so.
So you at the level of the procurement, you did not raise this flag?
I didn't see this.
You didn't see this?
No.
You are seeing it for the first time?
Yes, definitely.
Or you are appreciating it for the first time? The fact that it is not correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, it is also said that in note 7 that 1,636,169 was expended in public latrines and sockaway building. Did you do all of that?
You see,
because you are the procurement, so we need to ask you to confirm, so that when the CEO or the director of finance sits there, we reconfirm.
yeah,
To get clarity.
You are right.
Yes.
That is why.
So did you participate in the procurement of, the building of public latrines and sockways amounting to 1.6 million?
Mostly what is budgeted and what actually is executed.
That is
may
why
be
I'm
different.
giving you the figures. So
Yeah.
please note and provide us with evidence to that effect.
1 million.
636,169.
Okay, I'll find out.
Now for repair and maintenance stroke lubricants, the note 7, it provides that 5 million was set aside. I think 5 million was set aside and actuals were 4.7. The other amounts I gave you, like the 4,995,000 is an actual, the 1.6 is an actual, the 4.7 is an actual. So what was set aside is 500,000 in each of these. So please check for us also the repair and maintenance. All right?
Please remind me, what is the year of budget year?
Yes, let me just give you. This is 2018.
2018 budget.
2018, 2019. We will quickly go through. Yes, I think those are the things that I have. Also, what in note 9, note 10, sorry, it says community projects for ward development projects. That is note 10. 13,300,000 was set aside, but there was no actuals indicated. So please find out for us what ward developments were executed with respect, because there was no actuals as to what was expended on this 13,300,000.
Ward developments don't pass through procurement.
Okay.
These are physical amounts of money that are given to the wards to do their own ward developments.
Okay.
Yes, each councillor was
But you could provide us with information as to this particular 1819, how much was given to this ward? Because I have already given you what is in the budget. I have given you 13,300,000. All right? Please note that.
The people responsible for this will be coming here.
Please note.
What allocations?
Yes, what allocations? 13,300,000 was budgeted for, and nothing was provided for as per actuals. So you just ask the relevant department. And recall that you have told us that you participate in the preparations of this budget. So
Yes.
you should have residual knowledge as to why you came up with this amount and what was actually expended.
Each councillor was to be given 500,000, but the
Yes.
monies were to be disbursed into their ward accounts, and then they do their
So that is very easy to provide us with the data or the information.
But it is not disbursed by OSMA. It is not our unit does not take part in any that.
of those.
No.
That
We
is
don't.
noted.
Yeah.
Now for what role do you have in capacity building? You have capacity building.
Role?
What role you procurement have in capacity building and education? Do you have any role in it?
No, we don't.
So if somebody wants to go for studies, or there is a training session or whatever, you don't have anything to do with that?
If it is an
Even though money is being expended?
If it is an overseas travel,
Yes.
we participate in the buying of the tickets,
Yes.
but not in the decision making about the overseas.
Yes, when we are speaking about your role in seeing where the expenditure is going. Is that not the case? I'm not saying you participating in taking decision as to that particular subhead in the activities of the council, but your own role, specific role in capacity building and education, which you just gave. That is to say, if there is training to be done, you pay the bills. You know, requisition is made and you find out how they have arrived at the amount they are asking to be paid.
No, we don't participate in that.
You don't participate in that?
No, normally what happens is when somebody wants to go for training, you go to the institution that you want to go to, and then they give you an invoice, you submit it, and it is paid for you.
Okay.
That does not come through us.
All right. Council, you.
Could I just, last question. Do you have issues of interference in procurement activities?
Interference.
Yes.
We don't have it 100% as we would wish it.
What do you mean you don't have it 100% as you wish?
For example, we are working with people who don't understand these things very well. Mechanics, drivers, and so forth. Sometimes they do things without you knowing, and then they come to you, and then you have to deal with that.
The drivers and the mechanics?
Yes.
That is the only level you have interference? You don't have interference at the level of the senior management?
Senior management, at some point, there were some issues were not passing through procurement. It was the GPA who stamped their feet to make sure that all those things come back to procurement.
The compliance review for 2019 had highlighted clearly that there were a series of interference in procurement activities, especially from senior management. They've highlighted the finance department as well.
They stamp their feet and make sure that that stops.
So you are saying that you don't have the problem anymore?
But I mentioned it. I may not know. Something can happen behind our back and we don't know and we cannot uncover.
Now in 2020, there was a tender that happened in 2020. The amount is $1,647,015 80 bottles. Do you recall this?
Tender for what?
It didn't say for what in the compliance review for 2020, but what it had highlighted on page 19 of the report is that there were a series of non-compliance issues. Well, you have that there was no secure tender quotation box for the receipt of quotations or tenders from the prospective suppliers as provided for in the Act.
Yes, what happened is we don't have a box specifically made for that. So
yes.
When we had a tender, we prepared a makeshift box.
Yes.
But then they recommended that we make one out of wood, which will be, and we have since done that.
Now, who keeps this box?
When the tender process is on,
yes,
we keep it in the office of the CEO.
Of the CEO?
Yes.
Now, do you have keys, and who is in possession of this keys? How do you go about making sure that there is really absolute secrecy in relation to the information that it contains?
You know, there are set procedures with regards to these keys. They should be kept by different people.
Yes.
Yes, we have keys to this tender box.
Now, who keeps these keys?
Since we made the tender box, this is the first time we have not used it so far.
Well, the time you've had it in 2020, who were the individuals who were having the keys?
But what we used was a curtain, and then we put a
So you agree with the finding that it is not a secure?
Yes, definitely.
So it being in the CEO's office, the CEO can easily just pick up one document and give information to any other competitor. I mean, it's a possibility, because it's not secure.
We have since rectified that.
No, I'm just asking about what obtained on the ground at the time.
What obtained at that time was not secure, but we have since remedied.
The other issue is that it was found out that the staff of the SPU and non-SPU members or staff were collecting quotations verbally from suppliers, which compromised the integrity of the receipt process. Was that true? Was that happening?
You know, when you collect quotations verbally,
yes.
I don't know what is the evidence of that you collected this verbally.
I don't know. You tell me.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Because you did not reply to that. Did you, the procurement office, take part in this particular bidding process?
The bidding process?
Yes.
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Do you have a file for that? Do you have a file for that? The activities in relation to this particular open tender?
I don't know what the item of 2019, right? Which year is
2020.
2020.
For 2019, there was no open tender, but for 2020, you have one. And the value is $15 million. $15,647,000.
I think that's the vehicles.
80 products.
That's the tender for the vehicles.
Yes. So please, we need, as Chair has already said, all the information in relation to that particular tender.
Okay.
That's all for this witness.
Mr. Kunta, you have been asked to bring us some documents.
Yes.
And we've asked you to also reconfirm with the registrar for some of these procurement documents, whether that is what is contained in the file that you have sent in.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
So you are hereby discharged, and we will recall you if we have need to do so.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
Registrar, can you please call the next witness? Mr. Secretary, can you get the next witness act? Okay, yes.